Hey, it's Alex, the Names and Coffee podcast, coming at you. If this podcast is something that you enjoy and it's helped you, like I hope it has, you leaving a review helps me a bunch, and I would super appreciate it. So for those of you who don't know, I offer name mentorship. I really found my niche on Instagram. Do you say niche or niche? Is it like potato? I hear people saying it different ways. But anyway, so I found like my jam on Instagram. I've been in the name community for well over 10 years. But I was the first name account on Instagram. What a weird place to be of putting myself out there saying, is this going to be weird? Is anybody going to even notice? Here I am surrounded by so many amazing name peeps. It is such an honor and a privilege to see this level of creativity and voices. It's amazing. So on Instagram, my DMs are full with women and men who have quick questions concerning names. But I offer name mentorships, which is a name intensive. So if you've walked down Easy Street in your name journey, you might be like, what the heck do you need a name intensive for? So many things. You don't realize so many things. People think that they are alone in their struggle, but literally so many people have gone through, if not the same thing, something similar. From my child is a couple years old and I just haven't connected with their name. Their name is not fitting. So yes, regarding name change as a kid, as an adult, family dynamics, loss, a lot. And so it's something that I hold very sacred, to be invited into this very vulnerable process with people. I don't take it for granted. I always try to be honest and kind because you are in somebody's vulnerable space. Like when you go in somebody's house, you take off your shoes. And so I look at people's hearts the same way. So in one of my recent name mentorships, I got faced with this question, or not this question, but somebody said this again to me about how some people close to them did not like the name that they loved. And what really causes the mama bear in me to rise up is hearing things like that. I don't want to hear that somebody is pooping all over your opinion, especially somebody who it's not their opinion to have. It's not their decision. It's your decision and you and your partner's decision. Like if you happen to have a great relationship with your mom or dad or your sister or your friends or whatever, we naturally want to invite them into the process. But nobody should ever take that honor away from you or make you feel bad about something that's in your heart. You need to stand in what you're feeling, especially if you and your partner are both in agreement with that. You can hear somebody's opinion and still choose something different. That's your place as a parent and as a person. But what do you do when you and your partner seem to go through your list and it's no, yes, maybe, no. What do you do when you seemingly have gone in circles and feel like you're getting literally nowhere? Another thing that like sets off the mama bear in me, the thing that I rise up with is when I hear women coming to me and saying, oh, I love this name, but my partner doesn't like it. My thing that I say now is No is not an answer. So, in the grand scheme of life, when you're talking about boundaries, yes, of course, no doesn't need an explanation, right? No is a final answer. But when you are having discussions about baby names, no is not a final answer. And furthermore, I believe preference can't be an answer either. It has to stay relegated to discussion. Having a favorite name dismissed because of preference isn't fair. So when you are talking about names, obviously you are showing up with opinions and you're showing up with convictions. And I've certainly been in this position where my husband has said names to me and I've gone, no way. That is not my jam at all. But that still should not be a no, especially if they are super in love with that name. You really need to lend yourself to consideration because you would want the same thing the other way. Like, you have this strong conviction, this strong pull towards this certain name. Who wants to be dismissed? You want somebody to hear your side of it and say, in the grand scheme of things, if you feel really that strongly about it, I can come around. Because here's the thing, it's pretty likely that this little person is just going to become that name. And of course, in time, you're going to love that name. So don't just dismiss something just because it isn't your jam right away. When making decisions, especially with names, no is not the final word. You have to have a reason that will matter in 10 or 20 years. And knowing a family pet with that name, or somebody's uncle, or somebody you knew in high school, or a receptionist you don't like, those aren't good enough reasons. I think that if we are looking at our internal petiometer, we really have to shake and sort some of these things out. Somebody asked me, I put in my stories if anybody had questions for me, and Ella said, what kind of name association is good enough to justify a no? I think if it's somebody you know, or something that is a societal or familial pain point, definitely like a major X. I think that, you have your own personal scale of what would justify a no. Those are some of the things that I think would justify a no. But I still think, in the grand scheme of things, that, let's say you have an ex named James, and your partner never knew James, doesn't know anything about James. Maybe it might be weird, but I wouldn't do that. But you should still lend yourself to the idea of it and actually really think about it. Is this decision going to matter in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years? Because this person will just go by that name. And so I know that probably sounds like a crazy idea of, oh my gosh, you can't name your child after your ex. But that's just an exercise to expand your mind into, does it actually matter? Yes, I don't think you should be naming your child Adolf Hitler. That's probably a terrible idea. If there was somebody abusive in your family, probably not a great idea, because it's going to make all of your family think of that person as well. But not naming your child your spouse's favorite name or your partner's favorite name because you knew somebody in high school with that name is not a good enough reason. Life is so much bigger than random people that have floated in and out of your life. On my website, I sell these name worksheets, which they're like $5 printables, and it's basically helping you map out how to get to your very favorite names. And on there, something I'm very proud of, one of the pages is called the Litmus Test. And so, via Wikipedia, the definition of litmus is a litmus test is a question asked of a potential candidate for high office, the answer to which would determine whether the nominating official would proceed with the appointment or nomination. So in other words, like, does this have what it takes? And so on there, some of the things, I've broken down some of the questions that you truly need to ask yourself. And your ex-boyfriend's dog is not on this litmus test because it doesn't matter. Does the name sound star quality with your last name? Like, do you absolutely love to say it? Do the initials mean something bad? Does it feel appropriate for an entire lifetime? Would you wear it? And would you marry someone with it? It's actually quite a fun concept to think about. Like, would you want to marry or be in a relationship with somebody with that name? That's quite a fun challenge because you go, oh, wow, actually, no, I don't. Talking just about, first impressions and all that. Am I happy with its first impression? Am I fine with its meaning? And does it feel right? These are some of the core questions that you need to be asking yourself in regards to the name you're trying to come up with, whether it's for you or for a book character or for your baby. Like, these are the basics. These are the cores. On this list, it has nothing to do with the people you know or the weird guy down the street that you grew up with, etc., etc., etc. It has to hit all these things first, and then preference comes after. Like, if you really just disdain something, then yes, you probably don't want to give that name to your child. But you need to at least lend yourself to the idea and not just say no. So like when your partner says, are you sure you don't like this name? You can't just say no. You have to have a reason. Because when you do that exercise, it brings you down the path of expanding your mind and really chewing on it, giving it the brain time, thinking about it, etc. And the same thing with you. If your partner comes up and says, I really like this name, and it's not your preference, you shouldn't just be saying no either. Like, this really has to be a mind meld. It has to be giving yourself to this process. I think that's the most frustrating part that people get to, not understanding what it is. It's that feeling like your partner isn't lending yourself to this process. And you are putting so many pains and heart pangs into this process for them to just say no. It's not disrespectful for you to tell them you can't just say no. You have to have a reason. You have to talk this out with me. You have to lend yourself to this process. And lending yourself to this process is not just you showing up with an analytical brain. You just have to, I'm asking you to hear what I'm saying, and does your answer have enough weight to actually cancel this out? Like, this is a weighty decision. Don't be robbed of your conviction with a simple no, or no, that's not my thing, or I dated somebody in college with that name. That's not a good enough reason. You're in the here and now. Most likely, all those people or places or experiences you'll never see again. You'll never be around again. If you are, then yes, that's something you factor in. But I hope you hear what I'm saying, and I hope that this spurs you into some deep thinking about how you show up and how you have discussions in the naming process. As always, I love you bunches. You can follow me on Instagram at The Name Mentor. I'm also on YouTube from time to time as The Name Mentor. And as always, it's such a pleasure and an honor to talk with all of you. If this has helped you, please leave a review. And if you are looking for like the most awesome baby name book ever, Trending and Timeless Baby Names and my guide to peacefully crafting your baby's name is available on Amazon and on my website, thenamementor.com. So I will talk to you later, and have a great day, night, evening, morning. And especially get yourself a cup of coffee. A good one where you grind your own beans. Peace out.